Oh, take a picture of that. That's nice. You like that? You said murder. That's right.
That's like, well, if you ask like, well, you know if you get in, all right, fight a good fight.
First he was riding, trying to find out the way. Let me out. Hello. Hello. Hi.
I'm so sorry for your loss. It's just such a hard pill to swallow.
Check. They said.
Yes, I did.
That's a big gun.
Y'all got 15 items. They're not putting one in here.
What's going on?
We're here. Rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace.
We have our own people's bat signal, as you can see. And I want to shout out to the artists, the illuminators, for projecting all our messages here tonight. The messages that we're projecting are clear-cut to tell our communities to organize, to tell our communities that we're here, and to acknowledge the memory of Akai. So with that, I want to start with two amazing fighters who've been in the struggle for a very long time, Charles Barron and Inez Barron.
Yeah.
Long live Akai Gurley.
Akai Gurley.
Long live Akai Gurley.
Akai Gurley.
Stop police brutality.
Stop police brutality.
Jail killer cop.
Jail killer cops.
Jail killer cop.
Jail killer cops.
Brothers and sisters, we're going to keep marching. We're going to keep talking. We're going to keep walking, doing whatever we need to do to keep this issue in the face of this city and this state. And I say every time I speak, and I don't care what anybody thinks, if you continue to ignore peaceful assembles, violence is inevitable. And don't blame me when people get fed up for dying. Don't blame me when I call for a march and nobody shows up because they're doing something else. Don't blame me when they stop saying, hands up, don't shoot, I can't breathe, to hands down, shoot back, now you can't breathe. Don't blame me. Blame those that deny us justice. When we pack the courts for Delron Small, sit there and listen to a police officer say that he deliberately pulled out his gun when he saw Delron come into his car with no weapon. He said he deliberately pulled that gun out, and immediately when he came upon his car, he shot and killed Delron. If Delron was a white man, he'd be alive today. He wouldn't have never pulled out his gun. And if he did pull out his gun and shoot him with the information that jury had, that cop would have went to jail for the rest of his life.
That's right.
This madness must stop. But today is about Akai Gurley.
Yes.
And I remember when I got the call 7 in the morning, and I came to this sister's house right in this building, Melissa Butler. Give her a big hand clap. I came to her house the first thing in the morning, and she was there strong, trying to figure all of this out. And she was also traumatized and denied by the city. She was on the stairwell with him.
That's right.
Bullet whizzing by her.
That's right.
Could have easily taken her life. And she was ignored by this city, denied a settlement or anything in her suit against this city. This is a damn shame. We're going to keep fighting for justice. Long live!
Long live!
Akai Gurley!
Akai Gurley!
Long live!
Long live!
Akai Gurley!
Akai Gurley!
Jail killer cop!
Jail
killer cop!
Jail killer cop!
Jail killer cop!
Throw them under the jail
Under the jail.
for the rest of their lives.
For the rest of their lives.
Brothers and sisters, I echo all of the sentiments expressed by my husband, Assemblymember Charles Barron. All of them, unequivocally. I echo those sentiments. We have a systemic problem here because it didn't end November 20th, 2014. It has continued. And innocent, unarmed black men in particular are subjected to the whims and the illegalities of NYPD with no consequences. They need to be under the jail. They need to be in the jails for the rest of their natural lives.
That's right.
And when that doesn't happen, regardless of what we see with our own eyes, regardless of the fact that we see someone pull out a weapon and shoot without provocation, when it doesn't happen, it's a problem that is systemic and that we must continue to stand together and to fight and to call for justice. And we have to continue to do that until we get justice by whatever means we need to get the justice we deserve.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
One of the things that I want to echo is what Annette said about systematic and how these institutions are not created to give justice to our people. The Akai Gurley case, after he was murdered, we went quickly to trial within a few months. We had a jury. We had NYPD instructors talk to us about the ballistics and talk to us about police training. We had a jury that voted to convict Peter Liang.
That's right.
And Judge Chun.
That's
and
right.
Ken Thompson. Ken Thompson, who's the DA, who lied to the family and said that it will give solidarity to the family and stand with the family, recommended that Peter Liang get probation for killing Akai. And just so people remember the details, vertical patrols happen in our communities all the time. So all the time our communities are invaded by police. He shot into the stairwell. He shot Akai. Police are first responders. They learn CPR. He looked at Akai and called his union rep instead of helping him. And then went back to look for the bullet shellings. This is the person that the DA recommended for no jail time and probation. Then Judge Chun said, yeah, I agree with the DA. So after a jury rules, right? This is supposed to be America, right? It's supposed to be the jury proves you guilty or innocent. They sentence you and they give a verdict and it's supposed to be followed out. The judge ruled against the family. These are the same courts that sentence our people to 10, 20, hundreds of years in prison. And somebody who has proven to murder someone, somebody that looks like us, was given no jail time and was able to walk home. And our sons and our daughters can't. This is the system that we live in. So when we talk about systematic oppression, we're talking about not just in our community, but in the institutions that are supposed to serve our people and help our people. So when we talk about community safety and coming together as a community, we have to. Because these institutions do not work for us. They work against us. And they're working how they're supposed to work.
That's right.
And I just want to put that out there. So thank you so much for saying that, Inez and Charles. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to now call all the family members who have lost victims to police brutality. Can you please come up here? Auntie's looking around like I better start walking or she's not going to walk. And I want to acknowledge the power of these families because it takes a lot
That's right.
to know that your loved one is gone and know that this system has taken away the opportunity for you to have your loved one and you still struggle on. It also takes a lot to keep repeating your story
That's right.
over and over and over again. To us, to the media, to anyone. Nicholas Haywood, he had surgery, he couldn't be here. I want to acknowledge him because he's been fighting for his son for 23 years.
That's right.
This man told me, oh, well, I had surgery, but if I feel okay, I'll come out. I'm like, no, you can't come out.
That's right.
But because he stands so strongly
Yes.
with this situation, he was willing to put his life out, his health out for us, like these families do every day. So please give him a round of applause.
Yeah.
And if you can, just go down and say who you're representing in just a few words.
I'm Daquana. I was Delron's girlfriend, and I was with him when he was assassinated by NYPD Wayne Isaac. And our verdict came out, I think, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And I just felt like once the verdict comes out, I'll be able to heal. My process will begin. That's not true. And it's just like, I just thought that we were going to get justice, and I just knew that it was going to work in our favor, but it didn't. So now I'm still trying to process things, but it's hard. So I just stand in solidarity with all the other families and just pray, really. That's what I have to do. Just pray.
You don't have to go next.
I am Natasha Duncan, the eldest sister of Chantel Davis. Murdered 5 years ago, June 14th, 2012, by Detective Atkins. Like a lot of the families who came after, I haven't gotten any justice, no answers. Been through 3 DAs, lied. 2 of them lied. All of them lied. Right? To the family. When Kim Thompson was running for office, he ran on a platform that specifically said that he was going to help look into cases like Nicholas Hayward's case, Chantel's case. He got elected. Did nothing. And 5 years later, we're still looking for answers. I know some of the families have gone to court. We haven't gotten that far. It's like you murder loved ones and you're just supposed to forget what happened to them. My sister was shot in the chest and pulled out of her car, and by Detective Atkins' own admission, he said his gun discharged. So if your gun discharged, you didn't intend to shoot my sister, but yet you dragged her out of the car and she bled out. Went to the hospital as a Jane Doe because she had no ID and we couldn't find her. 23 years old. And this is my daughter, her niece. And in the picture that we carry around, she was only like a couple of months old when, in that picture. And when Chantel died, she was only 3. So I have to constantly remind her who her aunt was. And the one fond memory that she has of her was like a week before she died, when she came to my house for my other daughter's birthday and was running around my kitchen, remember? She was running around the kitchen with her and trying to chase her. And that's all she remembers of her aunt. So I'm here, and I always will be here for you guys, and we're gonna continue to fight. And I just pull my strength from all these families because that's the only way you feel any kind of justice. When a family goes to court, if you make it that far, you feel like you won something. Because my family, nothing. All we got was whatever Detective Atkins said in the paper. Not an apology, not anything. So I stay with the Gurley family, and we're gonna continue to fight.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gwen Carr. I'm the mother of Eric Garner. And just like all of these families here, I didn't get any justice. In court, at the grand jury, was no indictment. Insult to injury. An indictment only says that, you know, there is probable cause. You mean they didn't see any probable cause for them to indict the officer Pandaleo? This is what the way this justice system is working. And just like with Akai Gurley, he had a trial, the officer was convicted, and still no justice. You know, when you go that far and you still don't get justice, what do we have to do? I'm still waiting on the DOJ to make the decision where they may indict the cops still. But it's been almost 4 years and no decision. What are they waiting for? They tell us that they're turning over every rock. How many rocks do they have to turn over to see with their eyes what all the whole world sees? That Pandaleo and 5 other officers murdered my son. He said, I can't breathe. 11 times he said, I can't breathe. And they chose to kill him anyway. So I stand here tonight, as I stand many nights with families. We stand in solidarity because we have to lean on each other. We have to console each other, because even though for the news media, this is just a story. But for us, it's our lives. And we're going to live this for the rest of our lives. So that's why we have to continue to fight. And we will. And this is the mission that we're on right now. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ange Hicks. I'm the aunt of Chantal Davis. Natasha just spoke on her case. And we're here in solidarity with Akai Gurley's family.
That was your cue to speak.
Hi everybody, my name is Joshua Lopez. I'm the nephew of John Collado. My uncle John was killed 6 years ago, September 7, 2011. And I'm here to tell you, Auntie, that I'm here for you and your family and all these other families out here. Whatever support I can give to anybody, I'm out here. And you know, this system doesn't support us. It doesn't deliver us justice. So we gotta count on each other. You know, there's power in numbers. So we definitely need to uplift each other. And I'm here for you, Auntie. And I just want to say that you're doing a great job keeping your nephew's name and legacy alive. And I thank you, Auntie, for everything.
This is Dawn Small. I'm Victoria Davis, and I came to support Auntie and the rest of the families. We didn't get justice either, I'm pretty sure, as Daquana may have told you already. That was a shock. I don't know how I feel about it. I haven't come to terms with it. I don't know if I'll ever come to terms with it. And I mean, I don't know. It was a huge loss both ways. Like, it was a huge loss to lose Dawn in such a way, but then to lose, like, I feel like we lost. I mean, hopefully I can find a light at the end of the tunnel, but I feel like I lost again a second time. Yeah, I feel like we lost twice, and I hardly ever feel defeated. We've already been through so much. I hardly ever feel defeated, but this definitely feels like a little. This feels very defeating. I won't sugarcoat it. It feels very defeating, and when Isaac should be fired, he should be in jail. He should be collecting taxpayers' money.
That's right.
So, even like in Akai's case, like community service, like what's that? Like, it's like, well, what does it mean? Like, it meant nothing because if the tables return, you have to be careful. But you know, if the tables return, we've been doing 25 to life. Well, depending on if you have priors, you're going to be doing way more time. So for community service, that's absurd. How many? 800 hours of community service. That's disgusting. His life was worth 800 hours. And, you know, all of the rest of our families, like our family members, were worth nothing, but they was worth everything to us, though. And we support each other. But in supporting each other, we're kind of reliving it all the time. And this is not a club that we chose to be a part of, but we stick together. And we're a family. I mean, this is where we find our comfort, because this is hard. And the past week after that verdict has been the worst week ever. Worst week of my life. So, forgive me for being a little late. But yeah. No, I'm not. Don't do me like that. Thank you, guys.
I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I just want to thank everyone. It's hard to be standing in front of the building and being in the building where Akai took his last breath. It's hard for Melissa, and it's also hard for my sister, his mom. You know, it seems like all you have to do is kill a black man. You either get rewarded, that's right, or you get death duty to shut them up. They pay you off, and forget about it, because that's exactly what the system is saying. Peter Liang has his life. He probably already have a 3-year-old child. He's able to live his life. Meanwhile, Akai, he's dead. He's dead. Why? Because he figured he was nervous or afraid of the dark, because his hand was on the trigger as opposed to having a flashlight to look to see what's going on. That's right. But you know, it's a story that we keep hearing day after day, night after night. I was afraid of my life. I was afraid. Okay, you was afraid. Don't you think Akai Gurley was afraid? He was afraid. Especially when there's an officer there that's going to walk over his body. Don't even look at him. But yet, he's afraid of his life. Now, he's the one with the gun. So why would you be afraid? You have all the power. But that's what society dictates. That's what the system dictates to us. And it's up to us to continue to let our loved ones' names be heard. Let their names be heard. This is Carol. She's always come lately too. I love her. You know, it's just so sad that our loved ones' lives are not important. And for the Brooklyn DA, but you know what? And I always say, God don't like ugly. Okay? God do not like ugly. And when you do sour, sour gets you back. You know, so how dare he made a recommendation saying he's with the family. You're with the family, but then you're stabbing us in the back all over again. And you're saying, oh, well, I don't think he went in there with the intention. Nobody knows what was in Peter Liang's mind. But like I said, God don't like ugly. And karma is, y'all know what karma is. But, you know, my nephew's life was not valuable to them. It was valuable to his mother, Sylvia Palmer. It was valuable to his stepfather, Kenneth Palmer. His siblings, his aunts, his uncles, you know, to the whole family. And I vow I would never, ever stop trying to find or get justice for Akai. I would never, you know, because Akai didn't deserve to be killed or murdered.
Hello, everyone. Carol Gray, mother of Kimani Gray, who was also killed by NYPD, 2012, 2013, 2012. There's so much that we get confused sometimes. I'm just here standing in solidarity with Auntie. You know, Akai Gurley's life was taken, and in the end, no result. Just like any other cases, my case, Kimani, Chantal Davis case, and John Toledo case, Eric Garner's case, and so many more. The latest case we had was Darren Smalls, who all the evidence was right there clearly to see that, you know, this cop was playing dirty. He was lying all the way in the stand. The story sounded like a folk tale and everything in one. And there you go. You see, we have no rights. And all I have to say is I don't think we're safe in this country. That's my talk. I don't feel safe in this country no more. I don't feel like black and brown people's life, you know, minorities exist, or it's fully has a full value. But as I said, we're gonna continue doing this. That's right. We're gonna continue fighting, and we're gonna continue to stand by Auntie here and all our warrior sisters and brothers and cousins and aunts and uncles, and fight for justice continually. Thank you. All right.
I'm here representing Black Youth Project 100, the New York City chapter. But I'm also here as a community member. I grew up on Hemlock Street, a block away from this building. And I remember my grandmother, my mother was always like, you know, we don't go to pink houses, we don't go to Cypress Hills, we don't go, you know. And I used to always wonder why they used to say that. And they used to talk about how unsafe it was. They talked about how the doors didn't work and the lights that weren't lit in the stairwells. And as I grew older and I recognized that these systems are in place in certain communities. We know that when we go to white communities, their stairwells are lit. There are people who work in the elevators, you know, making sure that people go up and down to their apartments. We know that these communities have safer buildings than the pink houses right here and like Cypress Hills houses down the block. We know that the system is racist. We know that it's corrupt. And so normally, you know, at rallies and things like that, when I speak, I actually spoke at the Delron Small rally 2 weeks ago. It's a spirit of agitation, right? I'm very upset. I don't trust the police. Today, I do have that in me. I also do know that this is a day of remembrance. And I want everyone to know that while we don't trust the police because they're not meant to be trusted, as they said, the system is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, which is oppress black people and kill black people without accountability. What I do know and what I do believe is the power of community. I believe that we have the right, the same way when the cameras and things are gone, that we have the right to organize and to get together. And I believe in that. And I'm here, I stand in solidarity with the families. I stand in solidarity with folks from Brooklyn. And like, when we get off these train stations and we walk down these streets and we see the police officers who we know are ready to do whatever it takes to kill us. So I want us to know that we have each other, and I want the families to once again know that I stand in solidarity with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Asede. I'm with Crystal House. I've been an organizer with the Akai Gurley family since day one. One of the things I just want to say real quick before we get these facts going, Akai Gurley's death was no accident. Everybody here knows that. This is a real estate development plan, and they use the NYPD to clear out the neighborhood. And they're murdering us every 23 hours. This is happening all across America in every urban environment that you can imagine, right? Quality of life laws means clean us out, clear us out. They do not want stabilized communities in our communities. They add to the trauma, they add to the hurt, they add to the pain in our communities on a daily basis, where they're brutalizing us or locking us up or killing our loved ones. There seems to be a sense of hopelessness sometimes in these streets. But when we come together and these folks in the building hear us, they know we're here. They know they're here. There's a lot of fear that's going on. The system keeps increasing its violence. But just like a batterer, it's because it knows it's losing control. And there's a new consciousness that's arising right now. And we're part of that new consciousness. We're part of that new system that's developing accountability mechanisms. right? We're making sure cop watches are happening. We're making sure accountability circles are happening, right? We're taking the definition of safety and security and talking about it within a human rights framework, not in a militarized framework that they're putting it in right now. It's not a shoot and kill mentality that we're promoting. We're making sure that they understand that we are in the streets. We are educating and organizing and activating with our folks in the community. And it's because of our presence right here that makes it all possible. So when you feel isolated, when you feel alone, don't do it. That's part of the rape culture that we grew up in that we're trying to transform. You are not alone. There are plenty of folks out here. Connect, build. 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, an organization, a national organization, it doesn't matter. The power is in your voice, the power is in your actions. We have to stand by each other. And I know there's some infighting, and I know there's some disagreements, right? But I tell you, since Anthony Baez was illegally chokehold in 1992, I've been out in these streets. And I haven't stopped. And they could beat me, they could talk bad about me, they could give me stitches, they could break into my home, they could harass me. But I know with the power of the folks that are here right now and the families right here, yo, we ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. That's because it's love. And we're going to transform this militarized, white supremacist rape culture that they keep promoting in our community. Times are done. That's a dinosaur.
On February 11, 2016,
a jury found Leanne guilty of manslaughter.
A jury found Leanne guilty of manslaughter
and official misconduct.
And official misconduct.
But the district attorney later recommended. Leanne serve no jail time.
Leanne served no jail time.
At his sentencing hearing on April 19th. Judge Danny Chun reduced the verdict to negligent homicide. And sentenced Leanne to community service and probation. Leanne will not spend a day in jail for killing Akai Gurley.
Thank you.
Those were the facts. The families have to live with that every single November 20th. They have to remember. And they have to come together to make sure that they're healing properly. But this is part of that healing process, and that's what I'm saying. Like our actions, our word, this is their healing process. When they see us, when they feel us, and when they know we're out here for them. And they know when they don't even see us, they still know we're out here for them. Because we're still leafleting, we're still setting up our workshops, we're still setting up our trainings. Hands up to the sky!
We're doing this for Akai!
Hands up to the sky!
We're doing this for Akai!
I want to also take time to acknowledge the women, gender nonconforming, and queer folks that are here with us today. And the reason why is because police brutality affects our people too, our community too, on that level. It's not just black and brown men that are being murdered. It's our queer comrades, it's our gender nonconforming comrades, it's our trans comrades, and our women comrades. A young 16-year-old girl was raped by 2 police officers in Coney Island, Brooklyn a month ago. We can't forget Sandra Bland. And we can't forget Chantel Davis, who was dragged out of her car and shot in the street. The same year that Kamani Gray was murdered. And these are names that you don't hear about. Because we live in a system that doesn't acknowledge our people. And when I say our people, I mean all our people. Because if you stand for Akai, who was murdered by a police officer who was trained to shoot first and ask questions later, like all police officers are trained, then you stand for all victims of police brutality. And I'm getting emotional because it could be any one of us. It's not isolated incidents that we're talking about here. Elders are being murdered by police. Muhammad Ba had to have a civil case just to prove that the cops did something wrong, even though his mother knew that these 3 police officers murdered her son. We live in a system that plays with our lives and puts in loopholes and doesn't support us. But then when we stand up and when we come together, we're a problem. And we should be a problem. Because it's our lives on the line. It's our communities that are on the line. And we deserve to live in a place where we don't fear for ourselves, where we can raise our families, where we can be ourselves and live without fear that somebody who's getting paid by our tax dollars will assault us or abuse us or murder us. There are people here who are teaching their children what to say to the police. Children. Because we can't forget Tamir Rice. This is the system that we're living in. And when Asada says it's our duty to fight for our freedom, it is, for real. These are not just poetic words. There are rules to live by. They have their rules. We have to have our rules. And it's very important that we not only stand by all these families, because Akai is all of us, but when we're done, we stay organized. Because they're supposed to serve and protect us, but we know that they don't. And it's not a fairy tale. It's facts. The next person that I have up to speak is Jamisha Williams. Jamisha is actually an organizer, a fellow of the SOS Safe Outside the System program of the Audre Lorde Project. As you know, Audre Lorde was a revolutionary, queer, socialist, radical woman. And SOS is a program where they are working to create institutions and communities where we feel safe outside of calling the NYPD. Because as we know, you might call an NYPD officer to help you, and you don't make it out of that situation. So please welcome Jamisha.
So we're a collective of queer and trans people of color who organize in Bed-Stuy because we know that the police don't protect us. Our collective was born out of urgency because the police were out here doing the same fuck shit that they always do. They were out here harassing us, they were out here beating us, and we weren't gonna stand for that. So what our collective does is try to build community safety strategies that rely on each other, that rely on our community instead of the police. There are people out here doing work to dismantle the police state, and there are people out here trying to reform the police, but what our collective is doing is making sure that like when all of that comes down, that we know how to like be there for each other. You want to say something? Sorry.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I also organize with Jamisha as a part of the Safe Outside the System collective. And one of the things that often isn't talked about in like the Black Lives Matter movement is that a lot of the people in the streets leading this are femmes, they're queer Black women, they are gender non-conforming folks, and we stand in solidarity. We show up to marches, we organize rallies, and we want that. We want to see that like also for us when like our trans sisters are being murdered, and so we really like want to push that like all Black lives matter. All Black lives matter, and we need to stand in solidarity with each other. And we're just as we know that the police are killing young Black men, there are lots of people, women, trans femmes that aren't even covered and that the news doesn't even see. Their lives is valuable to report. So it's important to keep those folks in mind as well.
How everybody doing? My name is Anthony B. In the Black Lives Matter movement, I also lead the Brooklyn sector for Cop Watch Patrol Unit. Basically what we do out here is what's needed. We police the police, we expose them. You know, we put the videos out there, but on my group, we don't only just stop with the videos, we do the trainings. We're actually in these cops' faces. You know, we go inside their precinct houses, we go to the community board meetings, we let them know that our presence is out there, because like the Panthers and the Move and so forth, we kept a consistent presence in their face to let them understand that we're not taking this anymore. And that's one thing we need to come to grips with. Everybody says we're waiting for the revolution, but the revolution started from the first slave uprising. The thing is that the system has been winning because they've been using their power and some of the complacency amongst our people to keep murdering us and keep moving on. We have to now start waking up. We have to stop waiting until it's our turn. Because a lot of these families here, they did not expect for it to be them. They're in a club that nobody wants to join. They're in a condition and they're in a situation that nobody wants to be in. But the system put them into this situation here. So it's our job to make sure that we stay with them through this whole fight. That doesn't mean just showing up once in a while or just putting out a retweet or just sharing a status. That means being boots on the ground. Because that's the only way that the system sees that the people are tired and enough is enough. Because next time it could be me. It could be you. It could be you. It could be you. We never know. Nobody ever knows. The system just picks it out of name out of the hat because they want to do it. They get away with it. It's about time we start taking over every single bit of privilege that they have. Hurt them where it hurts. That's their pockets. That's their legislation. That's their power. We come against them in every single manner. Because only then, and only then will they understand the true power of the black and brown people. And I'm not just talking about, just going out there and we're yelling at cops. I mean, we actually go to their precinct houses and we surround it. We actually demand for violence to happen or we won't move. We take all the preachers from our ancestors and our elders who have laid their lives on the line for us to be out here today, and we use their tactics and revise it to an approach where they understand it today. Because even earlier today, we had officers come out that van and feel that they can intimidate us to shut this down. You think we're going to allow that to happen? Hell no. Said it. But that's the thing. They seen the true power of the people. Same thing with Ken Thompson. Ken Thompson saw the power of the people. This is why he had to put extra barricades around his house. That's why he had to hire officers from 3 different precincts. Because he knew the people were tired of this shit. People showed up at his house. They showed up in his meetings. A few of us even showed up at his damn birthday party. Because they know way that they're going to get away with what they get away with and feel comfortable about it. Because yes, the system and these killer cops are dangerous, but these complacent house slaves are just as dangerous too.
That's right.
So when we're taking down the masters, we have to take the house slaves with them. There's to be nobody left there. We are to not turn to this system by any means necessary, by any means taking it to the top for our people. That's what it is.
If you don't mind, okay? So everybody hold your chest, because I guarantee when I get over here, you're going to be real mad. A lot of people are going to be real mad when I finish what I have to say. And I'm going to say this. The reason why we're not getting justice is because we're playing games. We're playing games with the non-profit industrial complex. We scared to say fuck the police. We scared to call out white people. We scared to call out Euro-Americanism. And we scared to take real action when we don't get the results that we want. When we don't get the results that we want and we go around and we loop around Union Square Holiday Market when white people don't give a fuck. They're buying hats and mittens and shit. They don't give a goddamn about no man in East New York. They don't care about nobody living in NYCHA. They don't care about income maintenance rent. They don't care about stop and frisk unless it's happening to their child. And we loop around their business and their holiday markets and showing the world that we're not serious. We're not serious. I'm telling you right now, anytime black people don't get what we want, you withhold your dollar. That's simple as that. You don't allow nonprofits to come in and give you watered down talk. Because next week Friday they get a paycheck. They don't give a fuck. And I'm saying that. You could be black too and work for a nonprofit, but at the end of the day you don't give a fuck. Because in 2 weeks you're getting your check. Okay? You're going to try to 9 to 5 the movement. The movement is not 9 to 5. Don't put in comp time or overtime for being here tonight. No, that's your duty as a black person. Black liberation is not a job that you get paid for. Black liberation is your duty. And no family wants to be in this situation. But I'm going to say something else. As leaders and organizers, people that have the political compass, okay, don't allow family members, don't allow people to take advantage of your grief.
That's right.
Don't allow people to take advantage of your grief and have you busting a shipper robe for organizations that don't give a fuck about you at the end of the day. They don't. Because how long have these nonprofits been solving social justice? It ain't social justice. Any organization that got social justice in its motto is fucking around. It is black liberation. Hello. It is black liberation. You scared to say black liberation at your place of employment? Your nonprofit won't allow you to say black liberation? Your nonprofit won't allow you to say black nationalism at your job? So for those that don't know who I am, my name is Shannon Jones. I'm the co-founder of Y Accountability. We are not a nonprofit, so we can do whatever the fuck we want. We can say whatever we want to say. We can be wherever we need to be 24/7. I don't have to fill out a form to come out for somebody. I don't have to put in comp time to come out for somebody. I don't have to encourage a family to do what I want them to do so they fit into my job description that I have to submit to a grant funder or auditor. Fuck that shit. Yeah. And when families and when people are ready to say fuck that shit, you're gonna get change and you're gonna see justice. And remember, I said this because we've been around this too many times. And the formula is a nonprofit come along and try to water you down. Okay? Even black national organizations that you gotta fill out a form or you gotta send a tweet or an email to get permission before you do something. They're fucking around. Get with who don't need permission. Because these cops don't need permission to slaughter your ass and get away with it. They're still in NYCHA doing vertical patrols right now. I caught 2 in my development. I'm standing here as a NYCHA resident. Where's the NYCHA residents? Okay. NYCHA residents should be leading this. This is their ugly beast with vertical patrols where they live. Okay? NYCHA residents should be leading this. Not no goddamn nonprofits. Yeah, I said it. You don't like it? See me on the side by the playground. Shouldn't be no nonprofits leading this. It should be unapologetic NYCHA residents taking control of where they live and saying, no, I don't want no cops in here running up and down my staircases because they're still doing it, goddammit. And if you want freedom and justice, you better stop dealing with this formula and have these people have you busting a shipper robe like you a woodworker on the plantation and break away from that shit and get some freedom. That's what I have to say.
She inspired me, y'all. She inspired me. She inspired me.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Tanisha Grant. I am very close with the Daron Smalls family. They are my family. I've been here for everything. Miss Carr, I love her. Miss Carolyn, I love them all. But that's not the point. The point is, they have been taking from us for a very long time. The point is, until we truly unite, nothing is going to change. The point is, I am tired of sitting down and telling my 10-year-old son what is happening in his community because I have no other choice. We cannot afford to be ignorant anymore. I always say this when I speak, from Dick Gregory. They got us thinking legal mean right. But we got to remember that slavery was legal. Just because it's legal does not mean it's right. It's legal to fit their agenda. It's legal to keep us oppressed. It's legal to kill us because they know how powerful we are. We don't. When we recognize the power that resides in us, we're going to rise up. And just this right here, right now, everything I can get to, I go to. Because every time one of my people is murdered, I feel it. Like, because you all are my family. They try to separate us with this black, brown. We are all family and we all come from the same place. Stop letting them separate us. If we unite, if you take your 5 fingers and you make a fist, that's power. If every black person, African descendant, I don't like that black thing because that's the word they gave to us. If every African descendant in this country put $5 up, we could do something. We need to put people in the political positions that are really about our people and change these laws.
My name is Victoria Phillips. Most people just call me Miss V. And I actually am the Community's Health and Justice Organizer at one of those nonprofits Shannon was talking about at the Urban Justice Center Mental Health Project. But I get my own salary, so I can say what the fuck I want to say. I get paid out of discretionary funds. And I just want to tell y'all, because I'm also the action committee leader for the Jails Action Committee. And I want to encourage everybody that's standing out here to actually get involved to changing laws. A couple of years ago, our coalition actually got one of the council members involved, and he pushed the law to end solitary confinement for 16 to 21-year-olds on Rikers in our New York City corrections. Clap, yes, because that's a lot of our family members that are police, by broken windows police, and they come through the system. And I just want to encourage everybody to get involved, because police brutality is not just the only brutality that goes on in our city. Correction brutality, a lot of people get beat, messed up, denied their human rights once they're actually arrested and behind the walls. And that's where I come in. I did a lot of work behind the walls in the system, and that's why I go after corrupt cops and corrupt correction officers, because the system is one of a whole under white supremacy. And it's all of our duties to get it, it's all of our duties to come together and to get involved.
Today, thinking Sandra. Thinking still ain't surprised. Thinking who else? Thinking Tamir, Jonathan, Ayana, Michael, Rakia, Eric, Kendrick, Akai, Freddie, Nameless, Nameless, Cover Up, Cover Up, Leaked, Exposed, ignored, thinking I ain't safe, thinking folks I love ain't safe, thinking folks I ain't met yet and never will ain't safe, thinking enjoy life, don't forget to remain alert too, thinking fear mutes joy so ugly, I can't be still, refuse to steep in this boil of blood. Don't want to watch black and brown bodies pile up through open windows so close to holidays. They just keep falling and rolling in the gutters. Sky been weeping since Monday. I've been forcing myself out of bed into motion. My word's stronger than my depression now. My schedule gives me a break from it most days. When you heal people for a living, you see the world differently and everything around her. You know an indicted white officer would be a trigger point to the justice system, releasing every toxic case connected to it like firecrackers. You'd be amazed the damage people live in to avoid the short pain of correction. How words like change and improve are mistranslated to punishment and suffering, but things like demolition and atrophy are excused as preparation and preservation. Thinking we can try to explain all we want. Rosetta Stone must have broke off with our language. Thank you.
All right.
I'm going to say Akai Gurley's name, and when we say Ashe, we'll release the balloons. Does everybody have it together? Some people don't have balloons, and that's okay. You can have a spirit balloon.
Raise your hands up.
Okay. So are you ready? Okay. Akai Gurley. Gurley. Ashe.
Ashe.
Release the balloons. Bless up.
That's all right. We'll make a Christmas tree.
Ooh, some of them are sticking.
We'll make a Christmas tree out of it. That's it.
It's okay.
They'll leave the